Leave it to me. I was jumpy as a cat on hot bricks, I'll admit. But Ramesh was cool. He urged me to relax. But I couldn't. I just couldn't, okay? Take it easy, babe. It's not as if she doesn't know me. I'm in and out of this house all the time. We three even go out together for dinner and to the mall. She's accepted me already. Why are you working yourself into such a tizzy? I looked at him in disbelief. Sometimes I think men don't understand the first thing. But I clenched my jaw shut and ripped open my laptop. That's a brilliant idea, babe. You stay out of it and leave it to Meg and me. Can we try that? You're in no state of mind to achieve a successful outcome. And he was right about that, though I didn't believe he was any better situated. I pretended to give my screen my full attention as Ramesh plunked himself in front of the TV and watched some old cricket replay with as much interest and absorption as if it was live. He didn't even turn on the sound, just the silent flickering images, and he was riveted. Meghna drifted in and slid past me without acknowledging my existence by word or glance, and without stopping to think whether this was the right time to be reinforcing lessons in etiquette. I prodded her automatically. "Hello, Meghna." "Hi, Mom," she replied sulkily. Oh, not a good day to bring up the big topic. But Ramesh was never going to catch my flashing eye unless I got up and actually blocked his view of the mesmerizing TV. And I dare not do something as unsubtle as that. "Hi, Rambo," she intoned as she anchored the other end of the sofa, eyes also fixed on the screen. "Hi, Meg," he replied absent-mindedly. This was his attitude. And he'd said, leave everything to him. There was no hope. No hope! I tried to glue my concentration to my screen with the same fixedness as those two, but I didn't have a prayer. Was this how he was planning to achieve a successful outcome? I twitched and muttered and jumped in my chair as I pretended to work at my report. Though my nerves were shredded with anxiety, the long silence ultimately proved restorative. I settled into a kind of jagged rhythm, thinking, resolving, and typing. The other two were silent. Through my preoccupation, I heard Ramesh ask, casually, lazily almost, "Are you getting flack in school for being so skinny?" I confess I almost abandoned my laptop and fled the room. "Leave it to Meg and me," he says, and then leads with, "You're too skinny." Has he not learned in so many decades of male existence that one does not ever, at all, under any circumstances, discuss a female person's figure? And while I was still exploding, I heard Meghna whisper, "Actually, I am." What? Why had she never told me? We'd been working on it, our doctor, she and I, but she'd never said she was getting teased in school. I'd never asked, I realized. But surely she could have said something. Neither had taken their eyes off the screen. In my school days, I was the original bulwarker model, Ramesh offered. He couldn't see me sending a frankly doubtful glance his way, so his next remark was of his own accord. "The skinny one, I mean." But if that was intended as a joke, it fell like a stone. "What's a bulwarker?" she asked, eyes never leaving the TV. And this is what finally got his complete attention. What world are you living in, child, that you don't know what a bullworker is? It was one of the mega products of our day. Google it, he instructed. Redundantly, since she was already reaching for her phone as she accused him right back. The 21st century, Rambo, not some ancient time when you wrote your lessons with chalk and slate. Mixing our generation up with our parents. But what do these kids know? Everything handed to them on a platter. Her fingers Googled rapidly, and next thing I knew, she was skewering him with her eyes, turning to face him on the sofa. He had her attention now, but he was still playing it cool. Really? The skinny one? How did you go from that to this? Nice, Meg. Really nice. Looking to me for useful advice to save you from the nasties and insulting me in the same breath. Rambo, I didn't mean it that way, you know that. How did you change your metabolism? That's what I want to know. I really need to know that. He flicked off the TV and turned to her. I spied on the proceedings from my seat at the dining table. I'd not known any of this about Ramesh. I built muscle. Not as much as the other bullworker guy, but enough. That's why I've been encouraging you with the karate. Your posture has already started changing. Aren't you feeling the difference? She looked at him in silence, biting a corner of her lower lip. I watched them both. He turned away and deliberately flicked the TV on again. His concentration shifted back to that. She followed his gaze and didn't even throw me a glance as she warned me, "You're leaking all over your laptop, Mom." And I hastily scrubbed away the tears I hadn't noticed I'd been witnessed crying. They watched some more TV in silence. I got fed up waiting for momentous things to be said and tried to focus on my work. Isn't that hair mad? Why do young men feel compelled to do such extreme things to their hair? She asked. And I checked the TV, but there was no one with mad hair on it at that moment. Ramesh answered her coolly. It's only hair, child. You do whatever mad stuff you want. You make foolish mistakes. You can cut it off or grow it out. It's forgiving. I grew my hair really long too. It was the teenage, rebellious thing to do in our time. Again he had her full attention, and again he kept his eyes strictly on the screen. What? I wasn't born bald, you know. Actually, I was. But in between birth and now, I had hair. Someday, I'll show you a photograph. I'd seen those photos. He looked strange. I preferred his current gleaming pate. Hours passed, or so it seemed. I worked. They watched TV on mute. No one spoke. So, she announced abruptly, "Are you going to ask me, or shall I tell you myself?" "Be my guest," he shrugged. Both still had their eyes glued to the screen. "Okay then," she said. "You have my permission to marry my mother." "That's good. Thanks," he nodded. She nodded. And that was it. I tried to be equally nonchalant, but there was a huge smile bubbling up in me, and I had to watch myself, or that would be leaking all over my laptop too.